Hello, everyone. I am at the National September 11 Memorial and Museum now. Today is September 11, 2025, a day of unforgettable mourning for New York City. 24 years ago, a group of terrorists hijacked commercial planes and flew them directly into the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan, causing horrific destruction and a sorrow that can never be erased, with countless innocent lives lost and injured. Now, where the Twin Towers once stood, we have the National September 11 Memorial and Museum. This is a solemn place to remember the lost and to tell the story of their courage. The two large reflecting pools, built on the foundations of the Twin Towers, serve as a powerful symbol of memory's permanence. Today, let's join the crowds visiting this place to honor the innocent and the heroes who sacrificed their lives in the tragedy. While we walk, I will tell you the story of the Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. This is a tale about the young nobleman D'Artagnan and his unbreakable friendship with the three talented musketeers, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis in 17th century France. With a heroic, chivalrous, and romantic spirit, this quartet embarked on dramatic adventures together, confronting palace conspiracies and defending justice. To make it easier to follow, I'll divide the story into three parts. Part 1. The Young Gascon in Paris. The novel opens in 1625, a time of great turmoil and honorable duels in the Kingdom of France. The first scene is set in the small village of Meung, where a young man named D'Artagnan is preparing for a grand adventure. D'Artagnan, only 18 years old, carries all the traits of a typical Gascon courage: audacious courage, a reckless impulsiveness, the fiery spirit of youth, and a burning desire to seek glory in the grand city of Paris. He comes from a family of impoverished nobility, possessing no wealth but a deep-seated pride in his lineage. His possessions are meager: a scrawny old horse, a sword inherited from his father who fought in the wars of religion, and a letter of introduction from Monsieur de Treville, the captain of King Louis XIII's Musketeers. Before his departure, his father gave him some profound advice, counseling that to succeed in Paris, he must be brave and know how to conduct himself well. However, D'Artagnan's adventure begins on a distinctly sour note. As soon as he arrives in Meung, he has an unlucky encounter with a mysterious and handsome gentleman whom he refers to as the man from Meung. This man has a cold, composed face and eyes, as sharp as daggers. He rides a tall horse and wears a luxurious velvet cloak, a striking contrast to D'Artagnan's humble appearance. When D'Artagnan tries to find a place to rest, the man insults his horse. Although D'Artagnan attempts to respond politely, the man's arrogance offends his honor. In a moment of impulsivity, D'Artagnan rushes into an uneven sword fight. He is humiliated, defeated, and his horse is confiscated. To add to his pain, the precious letter of introduction is torn into pieces. D'Artagnan later learns that the man was Count de Rochefort, a spy for Cardinal Richelieu, one of the most powerful men in France. D'Artagnan vows to seek revenge and is determined to reclaim his honor at all costs. Upon arriving in Paris, a city that is vast, noisy, and complex, D'Artagnan feels a mix of excitement and apprehension. He is unaware that the world he is about to enter is divided into two opposing sides: the King's Musketeers and the Cardinal's Guards. He goes to meet Monsieur de Treville, a generous and highly influential man. De Treville gives D'Artagnan a warm welcome, but refuses to accept him into the Musketeers immediately. He advises him to practice and improve for a while longer, and gives him a small sum of money to help him settle in. Despite his disappointment, D'Artagnan accepts. Right after leaving Monsieur de Treville's office, an incredible series of events unfolds. While walking, D'Artagnan accidentally collides with three men, one after another. First, he collides with Athos, a noble musketeer who is calm and marked by a profound melancholy. Athos, due to an old wound, complains about D'Artagnan's clumsiness. D'Artagnan, with his hot temper, immediately challenges him to a duel. They agree to meet at noon.
Right after setting up the duel with Athos, D'Artagnan collides with Porthos, a large, proud man who loves grandeur. Porthos is showing off his magnificent cloak to a lady. Accidentally, D'Artagnan reveals the truth that Porthos's cloak is merely a cheap old coat lined with coarse fabric. Porthos, wounded in his pride, challenges D'Artagnan to a duel at 1 p.m. Finally, while walking on, D'Artagnan collides with Aramis, a refined and elegant man who is always torn between the life of a soldier and a cleric. By chance, D'Artagnan makes Aramis drop a handkerchief he was trying to hide. Aramis, fearing his secret would be exposed, challenges D'Artagnan to a duel at 2 p.m. 3 consecutive duels in one morning. D'Artagnan, with his Gascon spirit, accepts them all. When he arrives at the first dueling location to meet Athos, D'Artagnan is surprised to find Athos accompanied by his 2 friends, Porthos and Aramis. Before they can begin their fight, a group of Cardinal Richelieu's guards appears. Their captain taunts them, stating that dueling is forbidden by the cardinal. The 3 musketeers refuse to obey. D'Artagnan, witnessing their courage and honor, decides to side with them. He declares that he is a future musketeer and joins the fight. The 4 of them fight together and defeat the cardinal's guards. From that moment on, D'Artagnan bonds with the 3 men. Together, they fight as a formidable quartet, and although he is not yet officially a musketeer, he lives and fights like one. Part 2. The Case of the Diamond Studs. After officially becoming an inseparable member of the Musketeer Quartet, D'Artagnan's life in Paris entered a new phase, filled with dangerous adventures and complex relationships. Although he now had 3 close friends, D'Artagnan had not forgotten his grudge against Count de Rochefort, the man who had humiliated him in Meung. But fate was about to pull him into a much larger conflict, a war of honor and love. One day, D'Artagnan meets and is immediately captivated by Constance Bonacieux, a charming, intelligent, and visibly frightened young woman. Constance is the personal maid and confidant of Queen Anne. D'Artagnan falls in love with her at first sight and feels a thread of destiny connecting them. It is this love that draws him into a perilous political conspiracy within the French court. Queen Anne, a young woman from Austria, is in a desperate situation. She is not loved by her husband, King Louis XIII, and is constantly under the watchful eye of Cardinal Richelieu, the most powerful man in France. He sees her as a political threat because of her potential influence over the king and her secret relationship with the Duke of Buckingham, an English general. In a moment of romantic fervor, the queen gifted the Duke of Buckingham a valuable set of diamond studs, a token that undeniably showed her affection. Cardinal Richelieu, a master of cunning and deceit, discovers this secret. He sees it as a golden opportunity to accuse the queen of treason. His plan is to have his beautiful but ruthless spy, Milady de Winter, travel to England to steal 2 of the diamond studs from the necklace. Afterward, he will convince the king to hold a grand ball and demand that the queen wear the necklace. When the queen is unable to appear with the full set, the cardinal will have the perfect excuse to accuse her, dishonor the king, and justify her ousting. Upon discovering this scheme, the queen turns to Constance for help. Constance, in desperation, entrusts D'Artagnan and his 3 friends with the dangerous mission. All 4 men accept the task, knowing that it means confronting the full might of the cardinal. They set off immediately, beginning a race against time from Paris to London.
Their journey is fraught with obstacles and challenges. They face continuous ambushes from the cardinal's guards and Milady de Winter's brutal henchmen. With each leg of the journey, one friend is left behind. First, they are ambushed at Chantilly.
After a fierce battle, Athos, the noble and calm musketeer, is severely wounded. He urges the remaining three friends to continue the mission, while he fights to hold off their enemies. Next, at Beauvais, Porthos is wounded. With his arrogant but big-hearted nature, he decides to stay behind and fight alone, giving D'Artagnan and Aramis a chance to escape. Porthos proves his courage by single-handedly fighting against multiple enemies. Finally, only D'Artagnan and Aramis continue. At Amiens, Aramis is wounded. With his usual elegance and wit, he refuses to go on, telling D'Artagnan that he will retire to a monastery if there is no more hope. Now D'Artagnan is the only one left on the road to London. D'Artagnan must overcome the remaining obstacles, exhaustion, and despair on his own. He reaches Dover, crosses the English Channel, and arrives in London. There he meets the Duke of Buckingham and recounts the entire story. Buckingham is horrified to discover that 2 of the 12 diamond studs are missing. Milady de Winter had gotten there before him. But Buckingham is a man of resolve. With his love for the Queen, he immediately orders his jeweler to create 2 new diamonds, identical to the missing ones. He then hands the entire necklace over to D'Artagnan and gives him the fastest horse in his stable for the return journey to Paris. The race against time is not yet over. D'Artagnan must rush back to make it to the king's ball. When he arrives, there are only a few minutes left before the ball ends. He gives the necklace to Constance, who manages to hand it to the Queen just in time. Thanks to D'Artagnan's courage and loyalty, Queen Anne is able to appear at the king's ball with the complete set of diamond studs. Cardinal Richelieu's plan is foiled. He is furious, but can do nothing. D'Artagnan has proven his bravery, loyalty, and chivalrous spirit. He receives a reward and is promised further honors by the Queen. The case of the diamond studs concludes, but it is only the beginning of the personal war between D'Artagnan and Milady de Winter. Part 3. The War Against Milady. After completing his dangerous mission in England, D'Artagnan not only earned the Queen's trust and gratitude, but was also officially recognized as a musketeer, though he had yet to receive his commission. The case of the diamond studs was closed, but it was only the beginning of a personal war between the young man and the beautiful but cruel spy, Milady de Winter. D'Artagnan, a young man full of passion, could not resist Milady's allure. Initially, he tried to pursue her, mesmerized by her beauty and air of mystery. However, in an unexpected moment, D'Artagnan discovered a horrific secret, a brand in the shape of a fleur-de-lis on her shoulder. This brand was the mark of a condemned criminal, a physical and psychological scar that had haunted Milady her entire life. D'Artagnan, with his courage but lack of experience, was too quick to reveal that he knew this secret. Milady, a master of manipulation and deceit, was deeply wounded. Her pride was mortally offended. She swore to take revenge on D'Artagnan at any cost. From that moment on, his life and the lives of his friends were stalked by Milady de Winter like a specter of death. She meticulously and cruelly planned her revenge. First, she successfully poisoned Constance Bonacieux, the woman D'Artagnan loved, by feigning friendship. Constance, who had been waiting for D'Artagnan, died in his arms. Her death transformed D'Artagnan into a young man filled with hatred and sorrow. Meanwhile, the political climate in France was at its peak tension. The siege of La Rochelle, a Protestant Huguenot stronghold, was at its climax. This war was not just a religious conflict, but also a power struggle between King Louis XIII and Cardinal Richelieu. D'Artagnan and his 3 friends, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis, joined the siege, fighting valiantly on the battlefield. It was here that greater secrets were revealed. Milady, with the cardinal's complete trust, was given a top-secret mission to go to England and assassinate the Duke of Buckingham, who had been supporting the Huguenots. The cardinal gave her a letter of authorization, permitting her to do whatever she deemed necessary for the good of the state and ensuring no one could interfere with her actions. The Four Musketeers, using their intelligence and cunning, learned of this conspiracy and decided to intervene. They successfully intercepted Milady and took the letter of authorization. Athos, who was always calm and mysterious, recognized Milady. He revealed that he had once been married to her. He recounted the story of a beautiful woman who had deceived him. When he discovered her crimes, he had her branded with the fleur-de-lis and hung her, but she survived. She was later pardoned, but the scar remained as a testament to her crimes. With the letter of authorization in hand and undeniable evidence, the four friends decided to try Milady themselves. They held a secret council and summoned Milady. They listed all of her crimes: the poisoning of Constance, the assassination of Buckingham, the conspiracy to kill D'Artagnan, and other past offenses. Milady, with her innate talent for manipulation and deceit, tried to escape by lying and shifting blame, but all her efforts were in vain. Finally, a mysterious executioner appeared. It was the same man who had branded her years earlier. He was a symbol of justice coming full circle. He solemnly carried out the sentence. Milady was taken to a secluded riverbank, and in front of the Four Musketeers, the executioner fulfilled the death sentence. With Milady's punishment, D'Artagnan and his three friends had completed their mission. They had protected the queen, eliminated their most dangerous enemy, and brought justice for those who were lost. Afterward, D'Artagnan went to see the cardinal. Instead of punishing D'Artagnan, the cardinal smiled. He was no ordinary man, but a pragmatist. He recognized D'Artagnan's talent and courage. He handed D'Artagnan a blank commission, and D'Artagnan wrote his name on it. The cardinal signed it. Finally, D'Artagnan was promoted to lieutenant of the Musketeers. The story concludes on a poignant note. Athos, having completed his mission, left the Musketeers to reclaim his noble title. Porthos, with his desire for wealth, married a rich woman and left the corps. Aramis, after his adventures, gave up the life of a soldier to become a cleric. D'Artagnan, now a true musketeer lieutenant, had achieved his goal. But on that path, he had lost the love and innocence of his youth. The story is a reminder that while glory can be achieved, the price to be paid is sometimes too high. The story of the Three Musketeers ends here. This isn't just a tale of adventure and sword fights, but a story of friendship, courage, loyalty, and chivalry. The spirit of all for one and one for all has bound D'Artagnan and his three friends together, creating a classic story that has stood the test of time. Thank you for taking the time to walk and listen to this story with me today. Join me on our next walks with many more great book summaries waiting for us all. Goodbye and see you again.